I get it.
You
I honestly
pull out a totally new strategy.
I think it's good. I think what this is GenG, if this works, right? Because if it doesn't work, then it was a Hail Mary that clearly not working out whatsoever. But I think the biggest criticism of GenG always has been that in these situations, how we expect them to go for like Azir Jinx, right? I was saying fresh pick and then they don't look like, that's what you expected. Azir Jinx every single time. Azir was open, not picks. Jinx was open, they don't care. Honestly, still would have preferred to see the Kai'Sa, but we're gonna let it go. See how GenG can play this one out.
And we're invading. We're even invading. Here we go. We're gonna get the flash out of Faker. And that is a really nice start. Might allow you a little bit more room in that mid lane for BDD.
Oh, if only BDD gone for Ignite. With the Prio on bot side, and Faker maybe looking for a back, currently hiding in Fog. Possibility of them going for it. We do see some things going down, but no, Teddy's backing, so free Drake early on here. I like that for GenG.
Yeah, we're gonna get something. This top lane, very sad for Rascal. By the way, first pick Camille. This can happen, especially when you have no pressure from your jungler, because it's Diana who's looking to scale against an Olaf. And so, kind of gets to perma-push.
Oh, he'll get a Krabby, maybe. Will he get the Krabby?
Maybe, I mean...
I think Ona's going to walk and smite it.
Oh! Very close, but at the end of the day, it goes to BDD, so...
Yeah, that's okay, but I think Rascal was really hungry for some crab meat, Velders.
Not today.
He didn't get his Krabby. What?
Guess who's in the top jungle again? This is... You just don't get to be here. And Rascal doesn't get to lane.
Well, at least you can go for an invade. On bot side with the lack of pressure that's there. I do think that Carrier should get spotted on mid there, but I actually think that works out. I think you get invaded. The fortunate part is that everyone on GenG is making sure that this can happen.
We need to watch this. Yeah, Owner's here, and he has Ghost. But, you know, an even trade and kind of zoning you off the wave. Big win for T1. Huge win. Even the blue buff almost got stolen away, but of course, Glid is going to smite that one down.
And this pressure on top, like this all goes down to that early call to go for that scuttle.
Yeah.
Right, like now you've lost multiple plates. Another wave of minion goes into the turret. Rascal, he's been able to keep up decently in terms of XP advantage, but look at this gold lead. And
we're 8 minutes into the game.
I'm loving this from T1, right? I think that this is a very appropriate punish for, one hand, the draft, but much more so than the draft is how GenG played it out. Because I think that the draft in of itself, you might fall behind a little bit, right? You need to respect the Camille or you need to respect the Olaf if you are cleared, but not to this extent. And that's going to be, at least it's a cannon wave, so that is something. Mid lane Prio is going to get taken, and this is of course where you are very strong. If you are GenG, it's just straight up fighting, right? So T1, not taking any risks, just trying to gain advantage on the rest of the map. Should be able to pick up a plate here for Teddy, especially with the Essence Flux providing him additional damage on his turrets. So yeah, okay trade. I think you'll still take it as GenG if you can maybe set up a dive. You definitely have the champions for it, but this Rascal situation for the second game in a row is not great. First pick Camille, as you said, Velders.
Yeah. Generally, you know, you consider what else they could have taken with the first pick. You could have taken Rise. That might have been nice to have that.
Nice Rise.
You could have gone Diana, right? You could have kind of kept things a little bit safe. Maybe go the Nongshim route, right? You pick up the Diana and say, okay, we're gonna play something that looks a little wombo combo-y. But I don't know. This Camille first pick, it was very face up and very obvious to T1 what was going to happen. And they were able to just counter it with their second pick in the draft. And the fact that they have so much priority from the jungle as well.
And the question now boils down to, does the GenG composition have enough raw power to now get into a fight and even despite the item and experience discrepancy, still be okay? And I think that the answer is yes, but one, it depends on the execution. How well do you actually, how many people do you find in your combo? How well can you layer extra damage on top of it? And secondly, and this is the big one, with the current state of the game, if you actually do commit as a fight as GenG and you lose, you should be out of it. You might not be, all right? We might see mistakes from T1, they might overextend, but you should be in an insanely disadvantageous position from that point on. So it is a really big risk, and the last game we saw GenG being very wary of engaging in any risky behavior whatsoever.
Here we go again. Owner's up a level on Clid, who does have the Rift Herald, of course. Remember that T1 essentially just gave that away. It's a very strong maneuver from GenG. They rotated up their bottom lane that they had prio with, and they were able to secure that objective. Problem is that you, in the top and mid lanes, you don't really have a great lane to drop this now. Maybe you can drop it and hope that Owner's on the bottom side of the map, but you just saw him up here. Clid's kind of just hanging out in the top lane, not doing much. He's not going to drop the Rift Heralds. He's not able to farm his own jungle, and even he's falling behind at a similar rate at his top lane.
He just wanted to be reunited with his frog, Valdez. But the angry Viking's not letting him. And honestly, I'm loving it. It's a really good example of even though we haven't had a single kill in this game, there's actually been a lot of movement around the map. And T1 have actually played a very proactive game. Just hasn't let the kills, which is fine in of itself, as Life gonna not take any risks, jump over the wall there. And we still haven't seen an actual fight, and that's something I think we're going to be looking towards.
We're going to have a fight here as Kana's getting in there, but the teleport does come through. Kana knows he's going to get Hextech ultimatumed, and there it is, the knockup into First Blood, going into the hands of GenG. They finally get something into the pockets of Rascal in this game.
That's a very big win for GenG, because it does two things. It allows Rascal to actually get get a shove in, actually able to pick up a full wave for what feels like the first time in forever, and it gives him a kill, which should put him on more even footing with Kana. And that is something that we haven't really been able to say about Rascal all game. Has been on the receiving end of both some overextensions of his jungler, as well as just generally a matchup that in the early game is very lopsided towards the cannon. As should it be a surprise that this Herald goes down in Ruler's lane? No, it should not. Picks up a little bit of additional gold, and despite the CS leads, with that Herald going down, GenG now even in gold. And let's not forget that, yeah, even despite some of the disadvantage that were accrued, it's not like this GenG comp doesn't scale, right? Like Camille, Yasuo, Diana, Xayah are still incredible picks. As it's really nicely done. Hextech ultimatum prevents any form of escape. Teleport could have happened, but there's a relative lack of vision, and the rest of T1 were making a play on the Drake, so I think you kind of just accept that it is happening. But single Cloud Drake, not the greatest, although, you know, Atlas might differ if we did actually have a Cloud. So, but it's another Ocean.
Yeah. 2 Cloud Souls, 2 Ocean Souls.
Balance.
Well, I mean, for 2 Drakes. Not for the other 2.
Well, no, we could have had every. Yeah, we could have had every soul.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
That would be true balance.
It would be. Sort of balanced, but not really, you know?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. And Guildfall's done for Ruler, which I personally think in of itself not going to be enough. Does really threaten Teddy in the 1v1. That's something where also why you see this plate going down is because unless you poke out Ruler previously, which generally doesn't really let you do, you need to respect, right? Because you never win the all-in against the Xayah. And if GenG are able to actually get that first turret blood on Ruler, it would be very, very good, but not really the coverage available for Ruler to shove in there and take that risk, especially with double or triple rather TP available. So I think it's the right call that they don't actually go for anything there, as Herald number 2 coming up, and everyone on GenG is getting ready. I say as Clid backs, so not quite ready just yet, but ready to move into position to get.
He bought his rocket.
That's a really big.
So there you go.
Oh, Rascal, you should know someone's going to be around. No, yeah, he's clearing the wall. He knows.
Yes. And the question is, will T1 actually confront them on this objective? Faker does have TP. You can see he's going to back and potentially pick up his item. Yep, there it is, Everfrost. Picked up, of course. And now he's got his item spike here for the potential fight. Not sure if his team wants to stick around yet. So it looks like they kind of are. Keria and Owner around here always threatening a play, so it looks like GenG will back away from the objective for now.
important cancel there by by Kana. Looks like Rascal wanted to back and maybe teleport in. Gonna have that substantially delayed right now.
Oh, here we go. It seems like they saw them with that ward in the lane. And is the engage enough, though? It looks like the answer is absolutely not. A extremely aggressive engage there from GenG. Saw them all grouped up. It looked so juicy. And at the end of the day, it's going to be extremely juicy here for T1, as they're going to be the ones that pick up this Rift Herald on top of 3 kills. And that will be a massive swing in their favor.
Oh, and it looked so good when it started out, Veldes. It's the combo that we've been looking for the entire game, but the damage isn't quite there yet. BDD only sitting on the shield, though. Klid has been put considerably behind here, so he only has his Proto Belt. Doesn't actually have the Booch finish, doesn't have a Dark Soul with maybe a stack or two to actually blow them up. And that combined with all the defensive summoners that are still available, even despite Ruler attempting a big play there and the immediate ult from Carrier as well, the exhaust coming through on Klid, which was really, really big. Then BDD going in. Ruler uses his ultimate to set up the play as well, so he can't even try and threaten a little bit more, you know, move up, try and bait them into a big Feather Storm. And that's a really big win for T1, because if you get blown up there, you lose the Herald. Maybe that's a snowball that they're looking for.
Oh boy.
That's a...
The revenge of Rascal. You know, I mean, sure. He's going to spot him, and a couple more autos should do the job. There it is. Reaches over the turret, it looks like. Now it's going to force a teleport, and he can just die to the turret and not give an assist over. And that was 2 teleports, actually.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's a 1-for-1 trade and 2 teleports.
Yeah.
You'll take that. That might actually... Wait, what? Was that that was the okay, that's the Herald on top side. Thank you.
Okay.
Really appreciate it. As I actually wouldn't have minded if GenG, the moment that happened, had just made a beeline for the Drake. I think that them getting an Ocean Soul is a good way for them to maintain some sort of momentum in this game. One thing I'm happy to see is that Rascal is looking like old Rascal again, finding solo kills. Sure, this one didn't really have to go for that, but it's still a better look than we saw him have on the Camille last game. Maybe something of a redemption arc that he's looking for himself. The issue that we saw there, though, is that when GenG's combo doesn't actually work, you are playing a very short-range composition into Rising Cannon and an Azrael that you're probably never going to get onto if you don't catch him into your initial combo, and it kind of highlights the issue with this GenG draft. And unlike when Domokia played this comp and Kenny was able to find that incredible moonfall onto the enemy backline, what's going to happen here is Teddy is Flash and has also Arcane Shield, so that should generally be out of the question. Big turret catch here though, there's a lot of gold going into the pocket, so give up a Drake, but keep yourself relevant in terms of global gold.
Yeah, it's going to be nice, keeps them close. At the same time though, you know, Teddy getting free farm, he's totally fine as you mentioned. And it is just the 1 turret up on the top side. You're keeping GenG very far away from a potential later game win condition. And our top laners are still extremely low on farm. Olaf is almost 30 CS up on both of them. As here is the solo kill.
Oh, really nice stopwatch there, actually. That elongates that for a really long time. That second Q would have meant that he probably would have gone killed here instead of here. So... nicely done. Play that out with all the reason we could. And this is, of course, the threat that the Camille will always have. When it comes to straight up all-in, later on, you're going to have to respect her even more. But even right now, you don't really win that in a straight up 1v1. Your lockdown is good, but when Camille decides she wants to throw down the fighting ring, you don't really have a way of getting out of that. As T1 now setting up shop around mid. And I wouldn't mind if they pushed in a little more aggressively and gotten some control of that top side. Do you think that even this early on, with already 2 items on Teddy and Faker, they can actually chew through a Baron relatively quickly. And I don't think it's something that you necessarily need to go for, but it's nice to have in your arsenal, especially against GenG's comp, who, when they go in, they're in, right? There's not really any way of getting out, so forcing them to take a fight when you don't really want to, when they can't scope out first, I think is a really good call. Ruler, though, Essence Reaver finished, and that is always going to be a spike that you'll have to fear if you're playing against Desire.
Yeah. Ruler definitely the X factor. You know, in the draft, we weren't 100% sure about the Xayah, but the Xayah Rakan, obviously the Rakan has a lot of synergy with what they already have. Ruler gains a lot of independence, I guess?
Yeah.
Right? He can kind of just do his own thing. You know, if somebody dives onto him, he can potentially survive. Rascal, awkward spot for him, but he does have hookshot. As Ghost committed to end the Realm Warp, as now we got 4 people of T1 right on top of Rascal. He's just going to hookshot over the top and buy some more time. We got the Unbreakable Will as well on the side of Carrier. They're going to hand that kill over to the Olaf, of all people. Feel like they could have just let Teddy scoop that kill, and Carrier will survive as well.
So really nicely done. Carrier, think had to use his flash as well, but ult and flash, not the worst. You have hack flash available as well. Really nice play from Owner there, further spreading his influence around the map. And yeah, slowly GenG falling more and more behind. And that is something that, when it comes to composition with, outside of specifically Ruler, a real lack of range in any way, but also range wave clear. Not gonna feel very good when you start losing control of the map. On the flip side though, and you see this as well, like GenG, or sorry, T1 rather, they're still, they don't really want a team fight. You know, it's side laning, they're kind of letting GenG do their thing. And I think that makes a lot of sense, because I think that's where as T1, you are still scared that you might lose this game, right? If that wombo does come true. Hookshot's a great ability, so Rascal's able to stay alive for a decent amount of time, but this is where that solo kill comes in, right? Like if you have flash available, might be able to get out there, or at the very least stay alive for even longer, but because you went for the really aggressive kill on Kana early on, you do get taken out, and it's another example of T1 really utilizing the power of that Realm Warp.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see. Proactive map plays when you have a nice little lead here. You don't necessarily want to get into 5v5, as you mentioned, so just kind of look for picks and control the map in that facet and go from there. They are grouping up a little bit here in the mid lane, though, as we do have the Ocean Drake about 45 seconds out, potentially trying to take down this turret or at least do a little bit of damage before this fight does break out. Baron up as well.
Also note the very supportive build that we see BDD go for here, and this is extremely common with this type of Diana Yasuo combo. And the main argumentation is that as Yasuo, your job is mainly to enable, right? Like you're just trying to get the rest of your team to do as much damage as possible. And I think in pro play, there's more coordination as well to try and burst Yasuo down, and going for the shield bow and the Mortal Reminder as well. It's more about the utility and the tankiness, and weirdly enough the CC that you provide, and it feels weird to say that you pick Yasuo for CC, but
you extend the CC.
Yeah, make it feel better. That was unfortunate for Ruler, and Soul Point for T1 is going to make them feel very comfortable in this game. Gold lead, not really anything to write home about though, but GenG can't really find an opening, so just gonna let it be.
Yeah, they are going to group up here in this one brush. And Owner sees all of them. And they're like, wait, it's Olaf. Never mind. Let's just back away.
Oh, Rascal, don't go for the crab. He went for the crab and he didn't get it. At least he didn't die.
True.
Rascal's not getting any crab. And I know it's Camille, and I know he shouldn't get any crabs, but still, Valdez.
He just wants some crab.
Rude.
Yeah,
he was trying to get it earlier, and then Owner comes in. Just let the man have some crab.
No, they're not going to let him have any crab. You can see here the gold leads are pretty insignificant. Obviously, Faker has a pretty nice lead. It's the biggest one. The Rise, very good at sitting in a lane and farming it out, so not a big surprise there. He's also been able to pick up a kill and 3 assists. So that's the biggest lead that we do have. Generally, still T1 in a good spot, even though, as we mentioned, the lead isn't so big. They have a lot of Drakes here, and they've been avoiding getting Wombo comboed very well. So it's about as much as you can ask for against this comp.
It's a leisurely game, Veldes, and I feel like this is it's kind of decompressing after what was a very stressful experience in the previous game, with the, I want to say 40th minute, I think it was in the
It was
end.
Over 50. It was like 52.
There you go. Yeah. Minutes of A lot of movement, a couple of base races, you know, quite a few objective fights, and also a lot of just posturing around the map, people going on secret missions and them not quite working out as well. This feels a lot more like your garden variety game. Then again, so did the game last time, so I'm not ready to call it yet. As forces the Shirelias there, so nice little job there.
Something. Keria pretty safe. You know, they'd like to force an unbreakable will if possible, but at the end of the day, he's just going to back away. And that's a nice little group up for GenG. You know, it's the second time they've been able to do it. The first one was because T1 was around a Drake. But this one, just pretty much straight up, going into the mid lane, finding a push.
And
a turret.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind if GenG tried and helped set up for Rascal a little bit better. Because I get that he's supposed to like draw pressure on the bot side of the map while GenG try and maybe set up vision around the Baron and take control of that area. But if his team provides him with a little bit more vision on that bot side, I think he can actually threaten Kana a little bit more, maybe force up more of a response, which should free up the rest of the map for GenG. And now, yes, it's 3 Drakes for T1, so I still think they're in a considerable lead, and I also don't think that if Teddy plays it well, which, considering last game, probably will, it's hard to go for the Keria.
Yeah, he is Alistar, but they do have a ridiculous amount of CC. They're not going to keep him around for long enough. Ruler has to Feather Storm. In kind of an awkward spot there. Teddy with red buff really putting on the pressure. Yeah.
2 big ultimates used. Yeah. Lord Dominic's now done for Ruler as well. So that should actually help him to get through both Ona and Keria. I like that. That was a good wind wall.
Quality wind wall.
Yeah. You know, we didn't get a Cloud Soul, so you got to get your
we're commentating golf now. And he sets up the wind wall.
Nicely done. Moves forward. This is a hard one. As 115 till the Drake spawns.
It's a hard one.
I thought he was going to go for
not even good golf commentary.
Like, I don't watch golf.
Oh man! And now we have a Keria in a bad spot, but actually, who's baiting who? As we got teleports out the wazoo, coming in behind. Teddy is looking to flank everybody. He's just behind and he's corralling them. And here comes Kana, finds everybody, but they all split up into different directions. Teddy is getting bullied on the left side, and he will go down. But so does Ruler. And so now 4v3 in favor of T1. They're just trying to realm warp in there as Faker. He is a menace. He is so fed right now, but not quite going to be able to catch up to them. But you know who can is potentially this Olaf. Really nicely played there by Life to save and spare the blushes of his team. But T1 still win the fight in a big way.
And I think they made a play thinking that Keria didn't have the Unbreakable Will available, because otherwise there's no reason for you to use your combo on an Alistar. Right? Because they forced it relatively earlier. And they were like, hey, if he doesn't have it, we can blow him up. And that is the front line gone for the T1 comp. Instead, they used the most valuable combo on an Alistar that's high of my R1 and Flash. So good luck. And that is the soul, because that fight in of itself, not the end of the world, but giving over the Ocean Soul to this T1 comp. Oh, GenG, you're making it harder and harder for yourself.
Yeah. This is what you were talking about. They use everything on Keria, so you don't have Last Breath. You do not have the Grand Entrance.
And you don't have Moonfall. So
yeah, you don't have Moonfall. So
and this is also, and this is where we see the reason why I think Xayah also has fallen largely out of favor, is how long the cooldown is on this ultimate. Because it's easy to forget, but Ruler, just because he had to use it in an earlier fight, doesn't have it available here, right? It's like still 50% or 40% of the cooldown left.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nice that you're able to stay alive. It really cleanly played. Lives Rakan always has been very, very good, but it doesn't actually get you anything. You lose the Drake. You need to make that work. You need to be 100% certain the Keria doesn't have the ultimate. If you go for that instead, now you are down an Ocean Soul, and combo hasn't really worked a single time as of yet, though, does.
Yeah, I mean, you consider the targets that they have. You don't like Alistar. You don't really like Olaf if you're ever able to get him, while he doesn't have Ragnarok. Ezreal is really difficult to lock down as well. It's going to be difficult to actually take him down. So you're kind of left with Faker.
Yeah.
And maybe Kana? Kana's not.
He's cannon.
Yeah, he's cannon. So
It
it's
feels
like
bad.
he's got Zhonya's. He's very fast,
Ooh.
and now Faker is just so fed. But at the same time, this is Camille with 3 items, 2.5 at least. And you know what? Rascal's doing a good job so far, winning that fight. The TP is going to come in though. That is going to be forced here, but still Faker will go down. Nice 2-shot barrage, nice try from Teddy, but at the end of the day, it's still a kill in favor of Rascal and GenG, and Faker was the one trying to set that one up.
And it's easy to forget because we keep talking about this combo because it's the focal point of the GenG composition. But they also have a fat Camille that they can just set in the side lane, and there's no one on T1 that can actually fight them. And especially with Rascal teleport up, I'm very happy to finally see them use that. And as I say that, he teleports towards Baron.
Yeah, here we go. Teddy's got a red buff, though. And Owners is running on in. Pretty early on, he's still trying to go for the kill, but everybody's got a stopwatch, it feels like, in this meta. For some reason, Olaf can't kill anybody, and it's because of this damn stopwatch. And now Life comes in, zones them away. Kana still has his combo. Teddy's still alive, and this is 5v2, but a couple of very scary members on the enemy team. They're getting poked out here. The wind wall seems to be down.
Is scary.
Here comes Kana, no knockup, and now we got Faker in here. The Baron goes the way of GenG, but the cleanup is coming in for T1, and more stopwatches come through. Kana is just gonna go down, and Rascal is playing an awesome game here, able to come back from this huge deficit, and now they got the combo again, and it's up on Faker, but Teddy is alive, and Teddy's trying to go 1v3. He gets another one, and he's gonna get another reset. One more Q can do it. He's trying to get the cooldown back, and he should have his E over this wall, but it's still Camille. Can he land the Q is the question. The answer will be no, and Rascal gets away, but man, Teddy is so gigantic.
And if that's not enough, he can actually keep shoving here. Oh, there's one auto.
Hit it.
Oh, no, he doesn't want to take the risk, and I think that's fair, because if Rascal actually gets on top of him and kills him, that's it. And this is so reminiscent of what we saw earlier, right? Where Rascal's the only one left with a Baron buff, and this is, I think, overextension from Faker, right? Gets overzealous, thinks that if Kana or if Rascal rather face checks him, he can hunt it to 0 in. Unfortunately, Rascal plays it really nicely, dodges the Everfrost, also hits the W heal, so is completely fine. And then, yeah, over-enthusiasm, because just Owner and Kara don't have the damage to actually get this done. But then, and this is a result of the type of comp that GenG have, their Baron damage is actually fairly low, right? Like, they go for it, but they go for it rather slowly. And Teddy and Kana using this time to try and get as much done as possible. And then this is the Teddy show coming right in here, right? Because Kana goes in, he gets immediately exhausted, and while he gets some CC down and is able to get cleared, that in of itself doesn't mean that much. But then look at this. The fact that like they go back in here as well, I think it's understandable, but this is a crucial decision from Live. And Teddy still has his flash, right? So like even if Live does go for Teddy, it's not enough.
You see he's aiming for the backline because he knows he's gonna kill the Xayah with his auto. He's like, oh, I think I can do this. Right there at the end. And now we got an Elder in a minute. So
yeah, because while it was happening, obviously GenG not really able to use the Baron buff.
Yeah.
But they're still in the game. They didn't lose anything outside of not having a Baron. And they're, you know, the 1k gold lead is kind of irrelevant. So who is better? A wombo combo, a Camille on the side lane, or the Fountain Laser on Ezreal? Because that's kind of what it feels like this game is brought down to.
I just feel like Teddy has so many ways to get out of it. The problem is that Teddy alone, in that fight specifically, when they're all grouped up in the Baron and he's got some members to eat a lot of damage and keep the enemy team around, I feel like it's good. But as the game comes along, I'm not sure if every fight is going to look that way.
There's also the Hextech Ultimatum, right? And like I think that's the trump card, and it depends on how well GenG is able to use that. If you can use the
BDD?
Ultimatum, it should be able to heal off a wave, but there actually isn't a wave. It's Teddy!
Come on! This guy's just OP! Can we nerf Teddy? Is that possible? Somebody get Riot on the phone.
BDS teleport available. And GenG, like last game, you can't sit around. You need to actually make a play.
I like this. They're poking out everybody on the side of GenG so that they can't just go for wombo combo. And it's because their poke machine is so fed.
Oh, man. They want to go, but they have no vision. They can't just
Ocean
face
Rift.
check this.
Ocean Rift.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah. It's going to give you some extra brushes in
Flip it.
area. Able to sneak in. And it doesn't look like they have an idea that he's here. So now, here we go. He gets the 3-man knock up in the wall, the combo. The wind wall gets a lot of work done, actually, as Khan on the backline doesn't do anything. The Olaf gets kited out as well. There is a chance here, but Teddy is still alive, and that's really the kicker. He gets the knock up on the Teddy, but now he's in the backline, and he's just taking everybody out. Ruler is here, but what can he do against the Fountain Laser? The answer is nothing. And now Teddy will just chase him down. Just flashes for it, might as well. This guy he's 1v9ing right now.
Oh! Might I remind you, this man has been on the bench for the largest part of the split.
Oh, wait, how did he know he was in there?
Going in again. No, I think it's Rascal. If you don't go for the defensive hookshot there, I don't know. Can't get out. Krug save his life there.
Yeah.
Well, if T1 win, I'm not going to have to think about my Pog vote. That's nice.
Is he just going to have to... Okay, he's just going to solo the Elder Drake. Of course, yeah, of course he would.
TP's available, though. Yeah, there we go. Oh, Rascal's Hextech Ultimatum and GA.
Kana's here, too. TP, so now it's 2v1. We got life coming over. And everybody on the side of T1 died first, so they're running over faster. We got a second TP coming in.
Surely. Wait, they don't have smite? Oh,
nope.
No.
Nobody has smite. Nobody has smite. And so Owner gets in, and it actually still goes to Teddy. Because, of course, he is the bottom lane and the jungle and the mid lane and everything at this point in time. And that's Elder for T1 now. 34 minutes into the game, and how are you going to stop the Ezreal that was already terrorizing you, but now he's got Elder?
This is a really nice setup. As you point out, the wing wall prevents so much damage, but while I think the split fight here actually works out relatively well for GenG, and Rascal and Ruler are able to blow up a bunch of people, it doesn't matter, because there's only one person that really matters on GenG, or on T1 rather,
yeah.
and it's Teddy, right? And like the confidence of this player as well, so it's like, yeah, no, I'll hit that, like flash mystic, no problem, I'm hitting it every time, like. It says a lot about the state of mind and how unformed Teddy currently is, and we saw it already in game number 2. But this game, it felt like after game number 2, like, or game number 3, Red, like, can you top that kind of performance on Jinx? I didn't think he was going to. But if I'm seeing this, you know, if I'm, hey, you know what, I'll watch some LCK tonight. Maybe you're a fan of another region. You're like, what? I thought Gumayushi was. Why is Teddy back? What is he doing? What is going on? And
or maybe if you're only watching the playoffs, you're like, oh no, of course it's Teddy.
Yeah.
You know, of course he does this.
And
he's insane.
It's insane. And the crazy thing to me is, I don't think this game is won yet.
No, I mean,
as long as you don't engage with this Elder buff that's only up for 50 more minutes. All
right, here we go. They say you want a base race? You really want a base race or Rise? Are you
Baron.
sure about that? We have Baron.
It's a base race?
What are you doing? Get back in your base right now. And you know what? I mean, this is
30 seconds.
And okay, we're just gonna back away. They get that one Nexus turret. I should, you know, probably clarify that.
Important distinction.
Yeah, no Nexus yet. Although it's right there.
20 seconds.
The light at the end of this tunnel. They're there in the mouth of the tunnel right now. Look at Ruler. He nearly dies to 2 Mystic shots. And now he's got a back, and there you go. 1 in engage. Who
10
cares?
seconds.
Here comes Kana. We're just going to be bursting down everybody as life is going to try it so much for your combo. You don't have anything against Teddy in this game. Nothing. As T1 are going to take down the Nexus, and they will make it to the finals of the LCK, and they will secure their world spot.
For the first time in 2 years, T1 is going to be back at the World Championship. And yeah, you're allowed to smile, Teddy. You can feel good about yourself, because that was some incredible craftsmanship coming out from the T180 carry. Incredible, and a gut-wrenching loss for GenG.
Yeah.
Oh, T1.
You got a feel for the guys on GenG, but I mean, T1 came to play tonight, that's for sure. After game 1, I wasn't sure what to think, but man, how they turned it around. You can see BDD not really able to make a difference in this one. On the Yasuo, they went for a completely different style in this game after